Hollywood is reeling today after heartbreaking news from actor and martial arts star Michael Jai White. The 58-year-old Spawn and Black Dynamite icon has revealed that he has been diagnosed with prostate cancer on the exact same day marking the 4th anniversary of his son's death. On November 19, 2025, White posted a deeply personal message on Instagram, along with a moving video, announcing his diagnosis and urging the public, especially Black men, to prioritize early screening. The date holds painful significance. It marks 4 years since the passing of his son, Morgan Jai White, who died from COVID-19 complications in 2021 at age 38. According to White, the cancer was discovered during a routine PSA test in August 2025. Blood work revealed elevated PSA levels, leading to a biopsy that confirmed the tumor. Doctors at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles say the cancer was caught early, giving him a strong chance for successful treatment. However, because of his age and family history, the battle ahead remains challenging. "I was completely blindsided," White wrote. "No major symptoms, just fatigue and getting up at night to use the bathroom. Early screening saved me. The cancer hasn't spread." Cedars-Sinai specialists have recommended a robot-assisted prostatectomy, a 4-hour procedure with potential risks, including infection and long-term impacts on sexual function. White admitted that the situation has taken an enormous emotional toll. "This is the toughest fight I've ever faced," he said, "and for it to fall on the same day I lost my son, it feels like life is pushing me to my absolute limit." White has been vocal about the disproportionate impact of prostate cancer on Black men, who face nearly double the risk compared to other groups, according to the CDC. He urged followers to get screened regularly and expressed his support for the Prostate Cancer Foundation. Fans and celebrities have quickly rallied around him. The hashtag #JeansPrayForMichael began trending within hours. Ice-T wrote on X, "Brother, you're a warrior. Keep fighting." White shared that he will continue updating the public on his treatment journey and hinted that production on the sequel to Outlaw Johnny Black may be paused as he focuses on his health. This is far from the first time this 58-year-old warrior has stared down brutal adversity. And if you're ready to walk through one of the most heartbreaking, untold journeys in Hollywood, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell right now, because you don't want to miss the real stories behind the legends we think we know. Now, let's look back at Michael Jai White's profoundly tragic life journey, from the devastating loss of his son to the lifelong battles that shaped him. On November 10, 1967, Michael Richard Jai White was born in Brooklyn, New York, one of the toughest areas of the city. East New York, where young Michael spent his early years, was no childhood paradise. It was a place where violence, crime, and poverty surrounded every corner. The first thing you need to know about Michael Jai White is this: he never knew his father. The man who gave him life wasn't there to teach him how to live it. His single mother, a teacher, raised her young son alone under extremely difficult circumstances. Imagine a child growing up without a father figure. No one to teach you how to become a man. No one to hold you when you're scared. No one to show you the right path. Michael had to draw his own life map, and that road was full of thorns. Being a naturally shy boy, Michael found his voice through martial arts. At age 7, he began studying jujutsu. Martial arts wasn't just a sport. It was a shield protecting him from the harsh world outside. But when his family moved to Bridgeport, Connecticut during his teenage years, Michael's life began to take a dangerous turn. At 14, teenage Michael left home. A 14-year-old boy, living on the streets. Can you imagine that desperation? Michael fell in with a criminal gang. The wrong friends, the wrong choices, and finally, the horrific consequences. At 15 years old, Michael Jai White was shot twice. One bullet in his arm, one bullet in his hip. A 15-year-old lying in a pool of blood in the middle of the street, facing death. That's when Michael had to face the truth. If he continued down this path, he would have no future. He wouldn't make it to 20. And what saved Michael from death? It was martial arts, the very thing he had nearly abandoned. After the shock of being shot, Michael returned to martial arts with renewed determination. He wasn't just learning to defend himself, he was learning to survive. To prove that a kid from East New York, who grew up without a father, who had been swallowed by the streets, could still become somebody. At 14, even as his life was falling apart, Michael started earning money teaching karate at the local YMCA and competing in tournaments. A homeless boy, yet disciplined enough to stand in the ring. That's a contradiction few can understand. Michael continued training relentlessly. Eventually, he earned 7 black belts in 7 different martial arts: Shotokan karate, Taekwondo, Kobudo, Goju-ryu, Tang Soo-do, Wushu, and Kyokushin karate. 7 black belts. 26 championship titles including the US Open, North American Open, and New England Grand Champion. But success in the ring didn't erase the scars in his soul. After graduating from Central High School in 1982, Michael didn't rush straight to Hollywood. He took a path few expected: becoming a teacher. For 3 years, Michael Jai White taught emotionally and behaviorally challenged children at the middle school level, grades 5 through 7. This was no easy job. These kids were like Michael once was, hurting, angry, abandoned. He understood them because he had been them. Michael once said in an interview, "I never forget that acting is just play. I love my work, but I don't pretend for even a minute that acting is more important than being a teacher or a doctor. I'm just an adult being paid to pretend." But Hollywood called. In 1992, Michael decided to leave his teaching career, a stable, meaningful job, to chase his film dream. He moved to Los Angeles empty-handed. No connections, no guarantees. Just a man with a dream and his fists. His first roles were just small parts, no dialogue, not even credited. The Toxic Avenger Part 2, Universal Soldier, cameos no one noticed. But Michael didn't give up. He'd been fighting all his life. Why stop now? In 1997, Michael Jai White made history. He became the first black man to portray a major superhero in a big-budget film, Spawn. And this wasn't just a career breakthrough, it was a statement. A kid from Brooklyn, without a father, who'd been shot, who'd wandered the streets, was now an icon on the big screen. But success came with a price. When you become the first, you carry an entire community on your shoulders. Everyone looks at you as a mirror. They place expectations. They wait for you to fail to prove their prejudices right, or wait for you to succeed so they can be proud of you. Michael didn't let them down. He went on to star in Tyson, 1995, playing the legendary boxer Mike Tyson. He appeared in Exit Wounds with Steven Seagal, Universal Soldier, The Return, with Jean-Claude Van Damme, and later the cult classic Black Dynamite, a comedy about 1970s action films that he wrote and directed. But Hollywood isn't always fair. Despite his talent, Michael wasn't treated by mainstream Hollywood like white stars of equal caliber. He had to fight for every role, prove himself every day. Career success didn't mean happiness in personal life. Michael Jai White has a secret not many people know. He had a child when he was just 15 years old? Yes, you heard that right. At the same time, Michael was fighting to survive on the streets, being shot, struggling with life. He became a father. A 15-year-old boy with a son. 2 children growing up together in a cruel world. Michael once said, "We grew up together." But that's not as beautiful a story as it sounds on the surface. Michael's eldest son never escaped the street element. The same dark path Michael had walked. He tried. God knows how hard Michael tried. But sometimes love isn't enough. Sometimes the past is too heavy, and the wounds too deep. In 2021, Michael Jai White faced the greatest pain a father can endure. In an interview with Vlad TV in August 2021, while discussing his children, Michael paused. His voice dropped. "-1, he said. My oldest son just passed a few months ago. His son, 38 years old, died from complications of COVID-19. But it wasn't just COVID. It was a chain of wrong choices, struggles, and ultimately a tragedy no one could prevent. Unfortunately, the street element was still a big part of his life," Michael explained, his voice full of pain. He was still out there, on the streets, dealing drugs in poor condition, started using substances. He'd get out of the hospital, then back in, constantly like that. His son's immune system had been severely compromised by substance abuse. When COVID-19 struck, his body had no strength left to fight. He was in the hospital for a while, so it wasn't immediate, Michael recounted. But ultimately, when he got sick and went to the hospital, COVID was waiting for him there. That was the knockout punch. Michael had tried to save his son from the streets. He tried with everything he had. But as he said, "You try to do what you can, but ultimately, it's that person's decision, especially if they're grown." He never got away from the streets. That was his thing. The pain of a father having to bury his child is indescribable, but the pain is even deeper when you know your child walked the same path you almost died on, and you couldn't save him. Michael's son left behind 6 children, 6 fatherless kids. Michael, at 53, became a grandfather, even a great-grandfather to these children. The cycle of pain continues. Michael's personal life was equally tumultuous. In 2005, Michael married Courtney Chapman, an accomplished obstetrician-gynecologist. Their love story sounded like a fairy tale. They met at the gym in early 2004, had their first date on Valentine's Day, and Courtney, a strong, successful woman, proposed to Michael at the Cheesecake Factory. Michael once said, "I remember the moment I fell in love with her. I was in New York, and I was tearing up the room I was staying in because I was so angry that she was still on my mind. I didn't want to feel that way about a woman, but I knew I couldn't deny it anymore." 2 days after being proposed to, they married at the Four Seasons Hotel in Santa Barbara. In 2008, they had a daughter named Morgan Michelle. Everything seemed perfect. But behind the curtain, the marriage was cracking. In 2011, after just 6 years of marriage, Michael and Courtney divorced. There were rumors of infidelity, of Michael having a relationship with model Claudia Jordan. There were whispers that Courtney had financed Michael's career, even funded his film Black Dynamite. The truth is known only to them. But one thing is certain, another marriage dissolved, another family split apart. After his divorce from Courtney, Michael went through a dark period. He once told a touching story. After the divorce, he had a bad reaction to cold medicine and thought he was dying. In that moment, he called Jillian Ileana Waters, a friend he'd known since 1997, and confessed his true feelings. Jillian, an actress who appeared in Xena, Warrior Princess, had always been there. They'd known each other for over 25 years, had dated in the past, but then each went their separate ways. But that phone call changed everything. On July 3, 2015, Michael and Jillian married in Thailand in an intimate yet lavish ceremony. This time, Michael had found what he'd always been searching for, a true life partner. In an interview, Michael candidly shared, "I used to have a list of 14 girls I was dating. With my boys, I couldn't be in a better situation. But what I have with my wife destroys all of that. I'm in the best place in my life, and the value that I have with this one woman is my entire world." Like us, Michael also publicly spoke against infidelity in the African American community, especially among men. He encouraged men to be the husbands and fathers they never had growing up. That's a powerful statement from a man who witnessed the consequences of an absent father. Today, Michael Jai White lives with Jillian and their children in Los Angeles. He has a total of 6 children from various relationships, including Jillian's own child, whom he treats as his own. But that number now must be -1, as he himself said. Losing his eldest son is a wound that will never heal. Michael continues to work. He still makes films, still trains in martial arts, still inspires millions. In 2021, he announced plans to build gigantic studios in New Haven, Connecticut, his own film company. He's working on a sequel to Black Dynamite called Outlaw Johnny Black. But in quiet moments, when the stage lights dim, when the cameras stop rolling, Michael is still a grieving father, a man carrying too much hurt inside. He once was a fatherless child. Now he's a childless father. The cruel circle of life. If there's one thing Michael Jai White wants the world to know, it's this: success doesn't erase pain. Fame doesn't heal wounds. Money can't buy peace. He once told young people, "A hero is defined by what he has to overcome." And Michael has overcome so much: poverty, violence, being shot, the streets, lack of a father's love, broken marriages, and finally the loss of a child. But he's still standing here, still fighting, still a role model for many, not because he doesn't hurt, but because he chooses not to let the pain defeat him. Michael Jai White's story isn't the story of an invulnerable superhero. It's the story of an ordinary man with deep wounds who keeps walking even though his feet are bleeding. And perhaps that's the true definition of strength. Michael Jai White's life is a testament to the cruelty of fate, but also a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. From a fatherless child in Brooklyn, through bullets that nearly took his life, through years teaching abandoned children to film star, and finally a father enduring the pain of losing a child. Michael has been through it all. He's not a superhero. He's just a man trying to do the right thing in an unfair world. A father trying to save his son from the path he himself once walked. A husband learning to love after multiple failures. The next time you see Michael Jai White on screen, remember this: behind those masterful punches and confident smile is a heart that's been broken too many times. And the most miraculous thing? That heart still keeps beating. This is the story of Michael Jai White. Not a superhero, but a real human being, with all the beauty and all the pain of life. And perhaps that's what deserves to be remembered most.